Alright guys, let's get started with the first game on my list. Now, this is the game that kind of inspired the list in its entirety. When I first saw this game, I was super interested. It had been trending on the internet, and it just kind of sparked my interest because I felt as if a game about a cat had never really been made in the sense where the animal in question, being a cat, was just a normal street cat with nothing particularly special, no anthropomorphic features. So this is very different from like a Sly Cooper or a Crash Bandicoot or a Ty the Tasmanian Tiger, whereas this cat is literally a nameless street cat and its movesets are as such. Now, like I said in my intro, this game is called Stray. Now, just to give you a little insight into this game, it takes place in a dystopian, futuristic world where humans have gone extinct, and all that's left are these sentient robots who have formed their own civilization and have kind of taken up refuge in the cities built by the former humans. Now, it's a very interesting concept, just the idea that AI could advance so much that these robots could obtain sentience and form their own civilization similar to our own. Except they come up with different ways of interacting with one another due to their inorganic composition. Now, unlike the robots, there are some organic organisms in this game. Now, the first being the cats, and your character is not the only one, as you see in the beginning of the game, but there's also this kind of mutant infestation of little blobby parasitic creatures that you fight during the game. I don't want to give too much away, but it is very creepy. Now, I'm going to play the trailer for you guys, just so you can get a visual idea of what this game is about. So, as you can see, it's a very beautiful game, and it's a cool concept, and it's just really well designed. I was instantly intrigued when I first saw the trailer. Now, I don't know if any of you guys have ever seen the Netflix anthology show Love, Death, and Robots. But when it first came out, season 1, the first episode that they released was about these 3 robots who are visiting Earth after all the humans have gone extinct. And they're kind of touring a rundown metropolis where they find different relics of an extinct civilization. Now, at the end of the episode, they find out that the only living organism left on the planet are sentient cats. I think that is so funny. I'm actually going to play this clip for you because I love it so much, but I feel as if this game is kind of Love, Death, and Robots Episode 1, the video game. So take a look and see if you agree with me.
All right, mine bots, this is the last stop of the tour, and may I say, the PS of resistance.
Is it me or this thing screams phallus?
What was it for?
The idea behind these was to annihilate as many humans as possible as quick as possible.
This exercise suddenly got a little dark, didn't it?
Well, to be fair, they only used these a few times.
To be fair, you would only need a few times.
Also fair.
So this is the thing that killed them all?
No. Indeed, 'twas their own hubris that ended their reign, their belief that they were the pinnacle of creation, that caused them to poison the water, kill the land, and choke the sky. In the end, no nuclear winter was needed, just a long, heedless autumn of their own self-regard.
You okay?
Yeah, sorry. Thought that would sound better than, nah, they just screwed themselves by being a bunch of morons.
Yeah, you can't just crack one of those off. You gotta warn us.
Tip for next time.
I understand now. Humans died out from environmental disaster.
Yeah, pretty much. And also because at one point they genetically engineered their cats to give them opposable thumbs.
Yes, once we could open up our own tuna cans. That was pretty much that for the human race.
Seems pretty heartless.
Gentlemen, I'm a cat.
Just to clarify, you are not going to explode if we stop petting you, right?
I didn't say that. You guys better keep petting me, just to be sure. Forever. Good. Now lower. Oh, by the way, I brought some friends.
Oh, fuck me.
Yes. Oh, that's nice. I said lower.
I guess this means we are extending our vacation, right?
So that kind of gives you an idea of what that episode is about. That's just the very tail end of the 20-minute episode, but the point I'm making is that this game is very reminiscent, if not inspired, by that particular episode, in my mind. Now, if you notice the orange robot in that show, he looks very similar to the robots in this game. Now, I'm going to put this close to the screen so you can see. But the robots in this game have that sort of screen for a face with the kind of smiley face or emoji type face that they emote with. And I think it's so funny because it's a very similar character design. Now, obviously in the show, the robots seem to be the main characters, and the cats are kind of tertiary, especially since they only show up at the end. But in this game, the cat, controlled by you, is obviously the main character. And what happens is you stumble upon a city full of robots. And this city is, like I said, formerly occupied by humans who have gone extinct. And it's in a giant dome, which is supposedly protecting it from the outside elements. Now, no one really knows what the conditions are outside the dome because all the humans who knew why the dome was built and inhabited are no longer with us. So it's been hundreds of years where these sentient robots have just been living in this sort of like dystopian civilization. And it has different tiers to it, the architecture of the city. So there's the slums, and then you go up a tier and you have something called Midtown, which is a little more financially uppity. You know what I mean? It's a class system, so to speak. And then above Midtown is the control room, where whoever was running the city when the humans were around, that's where they probably resided. So just to give you a synopsis of what happens in this game, when you reach the city as the cat, you make your way into an apartment. Now this apartment is full of equipment, electronic equipment, and eventually you unlock access to this small hovering drone. Now this drone, like the other robots in the game, is sentient as well. And it almost has this personality that seems a little more human than just a robotic AI personality. It seems like it's lived a life before meeting the cat. But it had been shut down for a long time before interacting with the cat, because the cat actually initialized a process to reboot the drone, and that's when they became unlikely allies. So now you have these two characters, the cat, which you control, and the drone, which sits on your back, and it charges itself in a backpack that resides on the cat. Now the drone becomes the translator for the cat, so he can interact and communicate with the robots. And the game becomes this sort of freedom fighter storyline where there is a small group of robots who yearn for the outside of the dome, and they call themselves the Outsiders. Now, the Outsiders have been trying to escape the dome for years, and in the process, they have been separated from one another. So as the cat, you help them to reunite and to finally accomplish the great feat of escaping from this city. You end up going through many different areas in this game. You start out in the slums. You work your way to an area that's overgrown with these mutant creatures, which are very hard to defeat unless you have the right equipment, which you soon get. And then you go through the sewers and up to the Midtown, which is a much more sprawling thriving place with a lot more advanced technology and a lot more intriguing set pieces. Now, I found this game really fun to play, mainly because it has a sort of cat-like parkour mechanic where you can climb on almost anything and scale buildings, climb through windows, jump on air conditioners, and there's so many different ways to get around and to get up and over things that it becomes a very vertical experience. It's a platformer, obviously, but because you're playing as a cat, it creates a very unique perspective on what a platformer can be. So I highly recommend playing this game. I thought it was so much fun. It only took me about 6 hours to beat. I kind of sped through it in a sense, but I did feel as if I got the most out of my playthrough. It was a lot of fun. So now that I've shown you the trailer and told you a little bit about the game, I want to give this game a rating. Now, I'm going to rate the game out of 5 for gameplay, and I'm going to rate it out of 5 for storyline. And this is just my opinion. Some people who have played the game may not agree. I personally loved this game, and my ratings are going to be pretty high. So I am definitely going to give this game for gameplay a 5 out of 5. Instantly, I thought the gameplay was so smooth. I thought it was very dynamic. There were a lot of different things to do. And even though you're limited to the form of a cat, you're still able to really traverse this world effortlessly, which I thought was really cool. And for storyline, I'm honestly going to also give this game a 5 out of 5. It was a simple yet unique story which I thought was brought forth by a diverse cast of interesting characters in the robots. They just all kind of interacted really well together. Because the game is from the perspective of a cat, I thought that was a unique element that made this storyline a little more interesting than most post-apocalyptic dystopian games that I've played in the past. So that being said, that brings my rating to a grand total of 10 out of 10. I know it's the highest I can go, but I really feel confident that anyone who plays this game will really agree with me. It's a really fun game, and it's been trending all over the internet for a while now. There are plenty of people out there who do full playthroughs of the game, so you can go and watch that. It is on multiple systems, so I'm sure there's easy access to the game no matter what console you own. So I hope you've enjoyed this review of Stray, and this is the first game on my list in the Creature Comforts series, so I hope you look forward to seeing the rest of my reviews as I release them, and thank you for watching.